day for 5 to 10 minutes, or if required more than that. So the first point for in our agenda is uh, what is performance testing, because LoadRunner is also one of the performance testing tool. Like we do have many other tools in the market, but this course is all about LoadRunner, right? So to understand LoadRunner, first we have to understand the basic definition of performance testing. Okay, so what is performance testing is our first agenda point. Then, because it is all about load runner, so we'll discuss load runner architecture for a few minutes, and then we'll say a small practical example of how we generate a script and how we replay the script in load runner. Okay, then we'll be discussing about the course content, and then finally you have a Q&A. Okay, so this is our agenda for today. Now let's, I mean, after completing each of these points, I'll be, um, you know, taking your questions on that particular concept, and at the end, we do have a separate Q&A. Okay, like 10-15 minutes Q&A we can schedule. What is performance testing is our first agenda point for today. So basically, performance testing. I mean, before I explain what is performance testing, I would like to tell about what is software testing first. We all know that performance testing is one of the aspects. It is one of the different types of software testing, right? So within software testing, you have functional testing and non-functional testing. Okay. So functional testing is, as the name suggests, it is all about testing the functionality of the application. Okay. Now, when I say testing the functionality of the application, for example, let's say if I ask you to test, or if I ask you to check for login functionality of any application, so what will we do? We generally launch the application. We enter some valid username and password and see if we are able to log in. Also, we can see the other side of the testing. That means a negative testing, like providing invalid credentials, invalid username and password, and see if we are able to log in. So like that, we test the functionality. So the core thing is like only to test the functionality of the application. Okay. So when it comes to functional automation or functionality automation, you have some tools like Selenium, UFT, okay, using which you can do regression and release testing also. Okay. Um, then when it comes to non-functional testing, you have, it's all about testing the non-functional aspects like performance, security, etc. Okay, so the tools we use, especially when it comes to performance testing, the tools we use is LoadRunner, JMeter. Okay, we do have some of the tools like NeoLoad and all, but LoadRunner and JMeter are the most widely used tools in the market. Okay, now I'll give one more example of the difference between functional and non-functional, a generic example. Let's understand that we are using a lift. We want to go to third floor or fourth floor. Okay, we are on the ground floor. So you go inside the lift and then press 3. That means it should go to third floor. Okay, when you press three button, you are checking the functionality that whether it is going to third floor or not. That is checking the functionality. Okay, when you press 3 and it is going to third floor, how much time it is taking to go to third floor is all about checking the performance of it. I mean, how fast it is going to third floor. Okay. So when it comes to performance testing, in that particular lift, okay, what is the max capacity? I mean, how many people can how many max number of people can use that lift? So let's say 10. When 10 people are on board, like when 10 people are on board and then press 3, how much time it is taking to go to third floor is important for us. Okay, a single person in the lift pressing 3 button and then checking the performance, like how much time it is going to third floor. Instead of that, with max capacity, like let's say 10 people on board and pressing 3 button and then checking how much time it is taking to go to third floor is all about performance testing. Okay, so that means when you are testing the performance, okay, the load is important. Load means the users, okay, the number of people. Okay, so when you relate it to the software applications, it is the same. Okay, so testing the or checking the performance of an application by applying some load. Okay, checking the performance of a software application by applying load. Okay, so you have to I mean, this could be the basic generic definition. So when you want to test the performance of a software application, there should be some amount of load that is applied on the system. Without applying load, you cannot call it as a performance testing. Okay, um, there should be some number of users accessing the application and then checking the performance. Then only it is called as performance testing. So all in all, checking the performance of a software application by applying some load is called performance testing. Okay, so this is a generic definition. We'll see a textbook kind of definition later. Okay, not required now because we are understanding the concept. Okay, now why performance testing? Why performance testing is important? That is also one important thing, because if you remember, I'll take an example. If you remember I think 2013 or 14, somewhere in those days, uh, there was one e-commerce application, okay, which we are still using here. They announced a big sale for the first time. Okay, earlier there was no such big sales, like festival sale, big sale. Like there was no such sales. Okay, earlier in 2013 or 14, they announced it for the first time. Around 12 p.m., the big sale started, and immediately the application crashed. Okay, that means the number of users, okay, accessing that particular application increased. Okay, they didn't expect that those many number of users will access the application, and at some point of time the application crashed. Okay, however, from next year onwards, they made sure that, okay, all the number of users were able to access the application. That means they handled the servers and all those things properly. Now from then onwards, they didn't see any application crash from that point of time. Okay, I exactly don't remember the name of the book, but long time ago, there was a book that got released into the market. I think in US, I guess. Um, at that point of time, also to purchase that book online, more number of people access the application, and the application crashed. Okay, so that's the reason performance testing is very, very important. I mean, it's a huge business loss, right? So if performance testing is not conducted, then applications might face problems like slowness, pages loading forever, inconsistency, and may further result in business loss. Okay, yes or no? It's directly impacting the business. That's the reason performance testing is given more importance. Okay, in last few years, uh, the amount of uh, you know projects focusing on performance testing okay, increased drastically. Okay, so I mean, think from a normal user perspective. Let's say you are accessing some mobile application. Okay, for let's say you want to order some groceries. You downloaded some mobile app. Okay, and you're trying to order some groceries there. Let's say the application is little bit slow. Okay, you know, you said it's okay. I mean, for the first time you are using, right? Like the same slowness is being observed since last 4 5 times. Then what will you do? You'll definitely move to or switch to some other groceries application, right? Okay, why will a user wait? Okay, of when the application is too slow. Okay, so same thing. If you take any email provider, let's say I want to send an email, and when I'm trying to attach a file, it's taking too much time to attach a file. Okay, for some XYZ reason, and it's consistently happening. Then what will we do? We immediately switch to some other application, some other email provider. So that's the reason performance testing is very, very important. I mean, it has a direct impact on the business, financial loss. Okay. So the goal of performance testing is to find the performance bottlenecks rather than finding functional bugs. Okay. So this is very, very important point. We will not focus on functionality, guys. We will focus on the performance bugs. So bottleneck means a performance issues. In performance testing terminology, we call it as a bottleneck. Okay, instead of issue, we call it as bottleneck. So I by this time, I guess you got to know like what is the importance of performance testing. Okay, any questions as of now?
No, as of now.
Okay, so let me go to the next point. Uh, So load runner architecture. As I said, there are various tools in the market, and load runner and JMeter are the most widely used tools. They occupy major share in the market. Because this is load runner course, we'll be discussing about the load runner architecture. So let me open the slide and discuss about the load runner architecture. So we will derive the architecture based on some questions. Okay. So now let's say that you are testing a banking application. Okay, some application, it could be anything. Uh, for now, let's take banking application. If I ask you to test a banking application, okay, or if I ask you to do performance testing on a banking application with 500 users, okay, I told you why I'm specifically saying 500 users, because I told you performance testing is uh, you know it's not valid if you're testing only with single user. It is, I mean, it can be called as a performance testing only if you apply some amount of load. So let's say I'm asking you to do a performance testing with 500 users for the banking application. So how will you test it? Will you bring 500 people and give them 500 laptops or desktops and ask them to log in at the same point of time and ask them to perform some actions like like downloading a statement, transferring money, paying credit card bill? Various actions can be performed on the banking application, right? So will you bring 500 people and ask them to log into banking application and perform some actions? Or, okay, let's say it is possible. Actually, it is not possible. You cannot bring 500 people, right? And you cannot assign them laptops and all those things for single project, right? Now, let's say if it is possible. Now, what if I ask you to test with 5,000 users? Can you bring 5,000 users? 5,000 real-time users, real users, can you bring and can you test it? No, it's not possible. So for that reason, okay, for that reason, you have a component called, you have a component called load generator. Okay, this component is primarily responsible for simulating or generating virtual users for us. So instead of real users, we make use of these virtual users to test the application. These virtual users also mimic the same human actions, okay? And these load generators are also machines, highly configured machines, okay? These load generators are also highly configured machines. Uh, Based on the configuration of the machine, we can generate the number of virtual users, okay? I mean, there are a couple of additional points also on what basis we can, I mean, how many max number of virtual users you can generate per machine. It's a different concept, okay? It all depends on machine configuration and different on the protocol that we use and so on. We'll discuss that later. But primarily, these components responsibility is to generate virtual users for us, which can mimic the same actions, okay? So that is a load generator component. Then, okay, let's say you have load generator. Now, what is the next thing that you need? Okay, you want to test a banking application. There are different scenarios like transferring money, downloading statement, and all. How do you test those scenarios for performance? Let's say, how do you test a transfer money scenario? Let's say my client is saying that, hey, Krushik, for transfer money, can you test it with 300 users? Okay. Okay. That means when 300 users transfer money, how the application is responding. That's what we want. So transfer money is our one of the critical scenario for any banking application. So transfer money, what are the different steps it contains? For example, transfer money is our scenario, right? So first what we do, we launch the application, banking application. Then we log into the banking application. Then we navigate, then we navigate to account, right? Then we select a beneficiary. Yes or no? We select a beneficiary. Then we enter amount and click transfer. Then log out. These are the possible steps. Yes or no? One step here or there can change, but mostly these are the possible steps. Yes or no? Okay. Now, when I say I want to test the performance of transfer money, I need to execute these steps, guys. Okay, that means let's say if I want to test transfer money with 200 users, that means 200 users will have to run or will have to run these steps. That means each user should launch first and then log in and then navigate to their account, then select a beneficiary and then enter amount and click transfer and then log out. So these are the steps that they have to perform. Now, how do they run these steps? How the user, okay, I have the virtual users ready, but how do they run? How do they execute these steps? For that, you need to develop a script based on the steps. Okay, you need to generate a script based on the steps. Okay, so that particular component using which we can develop a script or record a script or generate a script and replay it as many times as possible. Okay, when once you develop, you can replay the script as many times as possible. Okay, using which component we can achieve this? Vuegen. Vuegen is a component where we record or generate or develop scripts. Okay, and then we can upload into different components. That is later thing. But primarily, we use this component for developing or generating the scripts, guys. Okay. Now, once your scripts are ready, let's say once your scripts are ready, you have to upload it somewhere and then trigger the execution. Okay, because without execution, how do you know whether the performance improved or not? And how do you apply some load? In Vuegen, you can actually run only with one user. But when you upload it into to a component where we can trigger the test, create a scenario, and then you know in that component you can run with multiple number of users. So that component is called controller or performance center or load runner enterprise, whatever it is. Okay, so what are the scripts you develop here, you will upload it into controller, and here you create a scenario. Okay, basically, why when I'm saying creating a scenario, we have different types of load testing, performance testing, like load test, endurance test, and so on. So we create a different type of scenario here, and then we trigger the execution. Okay. Now, once the execution is complete, okay, so we should analyze the results. So for analyzing the results, okay, we have a separate component called analysis. So using this component, we will analyze the results. It's a good component which will provide various metrics in terms of graphs, and it provides multiple insights about what went right, what went wrong during the performance test. Okay, um, this is for simulating virtual users. This is for developing or generating the scripts. What are the scripts we develop? We upload it into controller and we trigger the execution. We just trigger the execution, guys. Okay, and the actual execution will happen here. That means all the scripts and related files will be transferred to load generator machine, and the actual execution happens here, and the data will be returned. The results, logs, everything will be returned back to controller. This transferring of files between these two components will be taken care by something called agent process. Okay, agent process will act as a bridge between controller and load generator. It is responsible for transferring of files, data, logs, whatever it is, between these two components. Okay, and then finally, when the test is done, you can make use of analysis component to analyze the results in detail. So all in all, this is a basic understanding of the load runner architecture. In future, okay, in our upcoming sessions, we'll probably at some point of time we'll come back to this and discuss few more points. Any questions as of now? So when you
No,
install
Krushik.
LoadRunner in your machine, when you install LoadRunner on your machine, you will get ViewGen, controller, analysis, these three components. Okay, so these three components will be installed on your machine. Basically, your laptop can act as a load generator. Okay, so in this approach, you can happily do a performance testing in your laptop as well, with limited number of users. Okay, so this is about LoadRunner architecture, guys. Let me go to the agenda. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, I'll go to the third point, which is nothing but sample, record, and replay. Now, can anyone tell, based on the discussion happened so far, can anyone tell which component I have to use for this particular point here?
Eugen.
Vyujan.
Fusion, yes. So
Eugen.
as I said, once you install, you'll get that component, right? So just in the search bar, just type Fusion. Okay, you'll get to see this. Click on it, and it will launch Fusion. Okay. Now, because it's a sample recording of the script, what I'll do is I'll take one small sample application. I'll record few steps. Like the sample application is for now. I mean, okay, it is Web2s. The steps that I'm going to record is launch Web2s application. Okay, then login, then log out. These three steps I'll record, and I'll explain you how the code is getting generated. Okay, I'll simply replay it there itself. Okay, uh, let me go, before I start recording, I just have to start the Web2 server, then only the application will work. Okay, there is some, we'll discuss these things later. Okay, now go to ViewGen, click on file. This is the screen that comes, okay, as soon as you launch ViewGen. We'll discuss, you know, things later. But for now, let me go to file, click on new script and solution. Okay. And here there are multiple protocols. You have to choose web protocol because we are dealing with a web application. So for web application, by default, it is web HTTP HTML protocol. And here you have to choose the location where you want to save the script, and basically this is a script name. So I'm going to change the script location. Okay. So I'm going to change the script location. One second. Let me, okay. So I'm going to create a new folder. I created a new folder. So here in this folder, we are going to save all these batch scripts. Okay. So script name, let's say it is demo for today, because we're just recording a sample thing, right? I just gave demo and I clicked on create. So this is how the default script layout will be. Okay. So this is a solution explorer where you have different options, which we'll discuss, okay, one by one later on. On the right, on the right hand side, you have the action, okay, that is currently displayed, where you can record the flow. Okay, this is the action where you can record the flow. Okay. Uh, so the left hand side solution explorer options we'll discuss later, not required as of now. So if you want to record the script, you have to, there are multiple ways. So you can directly click on this record icon, or you can go to this record menu option. From there also you have an option of recording, or you can use a shortcut key of Control R, Control plus R. So because we all know, I mean, we have this icon over here, right? So directly I'm going to click on this icon. Okay. When you click on that icon, it is actually uh, displaying a pop-up window. Okay. So where you have to select few items. You can leave this as of now. Basically, you have to choose the browser first. I mean, using which browser you want to record. Okay. So you have Firefox, Edge, Chrome, and all. So let me choose Firefox for now. And then you have to give the application URL here. Which application you want to test. Okay, that URL should be given here. Okay. So now I'm going to choose the WebTools application sample URL. So this is the WebTools application URL, guys. And then click on start recording. There are different other options we'll discuss later. Okay. For now, I'm just clicking on start recording. So now what will happen when I start recording is this Mozilla Firefox browser will be launched with this given URL. Okay. That's what will happen. Directly the browser will launch with the given URL. See, I clicked on start recording. Now Mozilla Firefox will launch with the given URL. Okay. See, Mozilla Firefox is being launched with the given URL. Okay. See, Mozilla Firefox launched with the given URL. Now the application launched, yes or no? And then you see a movable window over here. Okay. This is a very useful movable window uh, where you have various options. Okay. So something like and you see there is some number which keeps on increasing here. Okay. So don't worry if that number is increasing. Actually, it's a good sign for us. If the number is increasing based on the actions you perform on the UI, that means the tool is able to record the application successfully. Okay. That means the tool is not finding any issues. Okay. The recording is happening, okay, properly. Now, along with that, you have various other options, like you have, stop recording, pause recording, cancel recording, into which action you want to record. We'll discuss this later. Okay, this is rendezvous point. This is we'll discuss later. Okay, comments. Okay, checkpoints and all. All these options we'll discuss later. For now, we'll discuss these two important ones. Okay, for today. What is this? This first icon says insert start transaction. Okay, that means whatever the action you are about to perform, give a name to it. Okay, and then go ahead and perform the action on the UI. And then after performing the action on the UI, then again click on this insert end transaction. That means for whatever the action you perform, just start that transaction, perform the action, and end the transaction. In that way, you will be able to capture how much amount of time, okay, it is taking for that particular action. Okay, now can anyone tell me what is the action that I have to perform now on the UI?
You need to
What is the
enter
action that I have to
credentials.
perform?
Logging,
Login.
logging.
Okay, yeah. So now I have to click on this insert start transaction, and I can give the transaction name as, let's say, login. Okay, and I'll click on OK. Then I'll not end the transaction. First, I'll go and perform the action on the UI. So I'm gonna go ahead and enter the username and password and click on login button. So the user logged in successfully. So just wait for 4 or 5 seconds or the page to load completely, and then go ahead and click on this insert start transaction. That means you end this transaction. Sorry, insert end transaction. Okay, end this transaction, login. Done. Now, what is the next action I have to perform on the UI? I mean, as per our
Logout,
discussion, what is
Select
the
from
next
tab.
action? Log out.
logout.
Log out, right? So here, log out. So I'm going to start a transaction. I'm going to name it as logout and go ahead and click on the sign off button on the left hand side. Okay, user logged out successfully. Now I'm going to end that particular transaction after waiting for 5 seconds at least, or I'll wait for the page to load completely. Then stop recording. Okay, you have this option of stop recording. Now, once you click on stop recording, it is generating the script. Okay, say it is generating the script. Now, ignore this recording report. We'll discuss later. Now, go to action where you have recorded, into which you have recorded. Okay. So this is a piece of code that got generated, approximately some 60 lines of code. Now, I'll tell you. So if you see line number 31, okay, for now, I mean, I'll tell you how to analyze this code. Okay. So if you see line number 31, what it says, LR underscore start underscore transaction. Basically, it's a inbuilt LR method, which is used for starting the transaction. So when you record the script, when you clicked on insert start transaction, so when you click on that and when you gave a name to it, this piece of code got generated. And then if you see line number 50, it says LR underscore end transaction login. That means this piece of code got generated when you ended the transaction, login transaction. In between that, you went ahead and I entered username and password and clicked on login button, right? Sign in button. So for that action, this piece of code got generated. You see the username and password that I passed. The username is Jojo and the password is Bean. Okay, so this is start transaction of login and this is end transaction of login. In between whatever you have, that piece of code is related to login functionality. Okay, if you scroll down a little bit, there you see line number 54 where you see LR underscore start transaction logout and line number 66 LR end transaction logout. In between whatever the request you have, whatever the code you have, it belongs to logout. Okay, this piece of code got generated when you clicked on sign off button on the left hand side when the user logged out. Agree? So this is all about logout. Okay, so you see here to here it is logout and then here to here it is login. Okay, so how are we separating them? We know that we have a start transaction, we have an end transaction for the same action that we perform. Okay, then if you scroll up little bit, there is one more request. Ignore this for time being, but there is one more request over here. Can anyone tell what is this request all about?
Go
You
to
have one
main
request here.
URL. Go to main URL.
Yes.
Like browser.
Uh,
Browser.
so any other? I mean, what is that
Unwanted.
action name? No, no, not unwanted. How can you say unwanted? See, here you have log out. Okay. Here you have login. So before that, what is this request then?
Web URL.
Launch,
Launch
right?
on.
Launching of the
Yeah.
application, right? So without launching, you cannot have login, logout, right? Yes, you can have, but if you think practically, you should first launch the application. But for launching of the application, for this request, you don't have a start transaction or end transaction. Why? The reason is uh, when you clicked on start recording here, okay, when you click on start recording here, by the time that movable window appeared, where i uh, where I have an option of inserting a start transaction and end transaction, this browser automatically launched with this given URL. That's the reason I didn't get an option to provide a start transaction and end transaction for that. Okay, however, you have to do it manually, because if you don't do it, it will not tell you how much time it has taken for launching of the application. So if you want to write it manually, what you have to do, just write the function name lr underscore start underscore transaction in small letters. Okay, semicolon, and give a name to it. What is the name? In double quotes, I'm giving launch. See that? And can anyone tell where should I write the lr underscore end underscore transaction?
LR start
After logout.
transaction login.
After logout.
Before
Uh,
login transaction.
so we have to end it. I mean, we have to end the launch before login, right? So I have to write anywhere after line number 31, anywhere after this, right? So here I have to write lr underscore end underscore transaction, lr underscore end underscore transaction. Here I have to give the same name. I cannot give any other name. All the spellings must be same. Okay, case sensitive also. We'll discuss what happens if you give a wrong transaction name later in our upcoming session. And then as per the syntax, you have to write lr underscore auto. So this is how you have to write manually, guys. Okay, we'll discuss in detail in our upcoming sessions. Now I'll replay this script. Okay, I have generated a script. It contains 3 transactions. One is launch, one is login, okay, one is logout. When I replay, how do I replay? I have a replay icon over here. If I click on it, it will replay the script. Okay, with only once. By default, only once it will replay the script, and it will tell you, it will give you the approximate response times, how much time it is taking. So see here, launch, okay, has taken 0.51 seconds. Login has taken 0.356 seconds. Logout has taken 0.279 seconds approximately. They have taken, that much amount of time. Now, you can ask me, sir, how much time, how much is acceptable here? Basically, whatever the action you perform on the UI. So according to the industry standard, you have to get any response time between less than 2 seconds. That means if you launch, the launch page should load in 2 seconds. If you log in, the login should complete in 2 seconds. If you log out, the logout should happen in 2 seconds, within 2 seconds. That is the industry standard. But in some projects, depending on the project architecture, complexity and all, the client will accept like 3, 5, 7 seconds also max. Depends. Okay. But the applications which are used by the end users, okay, uh, there they will take this as a criteria. They will not allow any response times to go beyond 2 seconds. Response time means the amount of time taken for the request to go to server and then come back with the response. Okay, we'll discuss that later. But all in all, 2 seconds is the industry standard, guys. Okay, any questions so far? We have recorded the sample script, right? Just to make you understand like how the recording will be done, how the replay will be done. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, I'll go to the course content. Okay, so let me go to course content. One second, let me have course content here, but let me go to the website once. Okay, so here you have the one second. See, the course content is listed over here. Okay, let me check. Yeah, yeah, I think the same points. Yeah, the same points are here also. So let me take it here, take it up here. Okay, it will be easy for us. Okay, so the course content, basically it's all about the basic to advanced course. Okay, so we obviously will start with architecture basics. Okay, I mean architecture in sense, both load runner architecture and performance. I mean the software application architecture also. Introduction to performance testing, life cycle, and then these important concepts. Okay, from interview point of view, very important concepts. Okay, and then we discuss about the load runner installation, different components. Okay, record and replay, various features of the Vusion tool. Okay, and best scripting practices in Vusion. Okay, like it's not simply about record and replay, right? You have to do few things before you consider it to be a fully developed script, right? So you have to understand the best scripting practices, and then runtime settings. Okay, so different settings that we should apply, okay, to make the script replay successfully. Okay, then different options of recording. Okay, checkpoints. Checkpoints are nothing but kind of assertions. Okay, if you have heard about Selenium and UFT and all, there you call it as assertions. Same thing here, we call it as checkpoints. Okay, like it will assist you in it in confirming whether you are redirecting to the correct page or not. Okay, then you have important thing, introduction to C language. So this is a question most of the guys ask me. So is coding required for this load runner tool? I would definitely say yes, but only very basics. Okay, because when you record the script, you have to customize it according to your requirement. So for script customization, you need to write some small logics. Okay, so the very basics of C language is enough. You need not learn pointers and all those things, not required at all. Basics is important, like variables, data types, statements, loops and conditions, select case statements, functions. So we cover like 3-4 sessions on this. Okay, and then you have like some C language inbuilt load runner functions, C language functions and all we'll cover. Okay, some of them I mentioned here. Okay, to customize our script, we have to use those inbuilt functions. Okay, then we will also learn like how to write and read data from file. Okay, sometimes we might have to use it, rarely, but sometimes we might have to use it. At some point of time, we'll also discuss about real-time challenges in scripting. Okay, and then we'll discuss about correlation, very important concept. We'll cover for 3-4 days. It's that important that if you don't know correlation, then you cannot do scripting. Okay, it's not about writing code, it's about a concept that we have to implement. Okay, it's not simply about writing the code. It's not at all related to the developing logics or something like that. It is purely related to the implementation of the concept. Okay, properly. Then you have parameterization. Again, we have approximately 3 sessions for this. Basically, it's all about passing different types of test data. We deal with huge number of users, right? So for when you're testing with more number of users, test data is also very, very important for us. So how do you handle that? So we'll discuss about handling test data in parameterization. Okay. So till here, I mean, we will learn all the scripting concepts. Okay. And then once the scripts are ready, I mean, once we practice on multiple applications, once we develop few scripts, okay, we will then upload those scripts into controller. Okay. And this time from this batch, we are trying to add, sessions on LRE also. Okay. Um, so controller and LRE both are same actually, but the UI looks different. Okay. I'll tell you at that time how it is different, but the options or or the entire the way we create scenarios, the way we execute, everything is same. Okay. So the way we these concepts, all these things are same in both controller and LRE. So we'll discuss that as well in this batch. And then we have different concepts from analysis. Okay. And what we have to monitor. Okay. When the execution is happening, what are the different types of errors we see. Okay. How to handle those errors, all these things we learn. This analysis I told you, right? It's a different component which provides various metrics with by giving us various graphs as well. So these are the various metrics that we monitor. Okay. And then we discuss about analyzing results and providing our observations. And we draft an email with all our observations to client. Very, very important, because based on our observations, based on our inputs only, the client will take a decision. Okay. And then uh, we actually practice on multiple applications, because every application is different and every application might have some challenges. So we'll try to practice on multiple applications. Okay. Then we have one concept called virtual table server. Actually, it is also similar to parameterization, but in a different way. We'll discuss that. And then we have interview question and answers. So we have a couple of sessions on interview question and answers. Okay, I'll be providing an interview questionnaire document as well for you with question and answers. Then these are some of the bonus topics which we'll discuss, like Fiddler har file scripting. Then we discuss about APM tools, like monitoring tools, like AppDynamics or Dynatrace. So I will be taking a live session either on AppDynamics or Dynatrace. The other session I'll be giving the other tool I'll be giving a recorded session for you. Okay. Because of tool compatibility in my machine, I mean, one of the tool is not working always. I mean, in sense, like both are rivalry. I mean, both are competitors, like Dynatrace and AppDynamics. So when I install LoadRunner, when I install AppDynamics, so Dynatrace is having some issues, and when I install Dynatrace, AppDynamics is having some issues. But nevertheless, I'll take one live session for any of these, and the other tool I will give the recorded session for you. Okay. So both the tools will be covered in that way. Okay. So very, very important. Without these tools, nowadays no performance testing project is there. Okay, it's that important. APM tools, application monitoring tools, they are used to continuously monitor the application performance. Okay. So what are the different metrics that we monitor, and all those things we'll discuss later. Then I will give you some high level information on what is CI/CD and Jenkins. Okay, how is it related to the performance testing? I'll tell you. We can also trigger some local scenario from Jenkins, local scenario, local from file system in Jenkins. I'll take one additional session on True Client, which is a different protocol. Okay. Um, some of you might know what is True Client. Some of you might know what is what. Some of you might not know what is True Client. We'll discuss that later. But it is one of the protocol. Okay. It has its own advantages and disadvantages. For that, we'll have a separate session. Okay. And then we'll also discuss about heap dumps and thread dumps, like why we have to download, how we have to download, how do we analyze those dumps. Okay. I'll tell you some information about it. And then we'll also discuss about some algorithms, load balancer algorithms. And then I'll also give you some recorded session of connecting to DB through LoadRunner. This can be either a live session or a recorded session. Okay, but anyways, you will get that content for sure. Okay, and then you will also get a recorded sessions of all the web services. Like not every application is UI based, right? So some of the applications can be web services also. So that's the reason the recorded sessions of web services will be provided to you along with this course. Okay, so you can so where you will learn how to do performance testing for web services. Where you learn how to do performance testing for web services. Okay, any questions so far? So now I'll open the forum for Q&A. Okay, before you ask me some questions, I'll tell you some of the things. Course will be like, like 40 to 45 sessions. Okay, every day, Monday to Friday, same time. And sometime or the other, when when everyone is okay, I'll be taking some weekend sessions also. Not every week, but depending on the requirement. Okay, like for example, I have to run a load test. Load test I have to run for 1 hour. I have to prepare for that load test. I have to do some pre-work for that. I have to explain what is happening during the test. It will take like approximately 2 hours, approximately 2 hours, like for that session. So 2 hours we cannot afford on weekday, right? So that's the reason for that kind of session I'll take on weekend. Okay, so where we have to learn for it for 1.5 to 2 hours for that session. Okay, then Monday to Friday, 40 to 45 days. And uh, any questions from you? Any doubts? So you have some time, right? You can ask as many doubts as you want. So whatever doubts you have, you can clarify. You can ping in the chat window if you want to. If you don't want to ask directly, ping in the chat window. I'll take questions from chat window.
Yeah, hi Krishna. Pooja here.
Yeah, tell me.
So which LR version you used and for training, which version you will be using?
2022,
Okay.
LRE 2022. No, you might
Sir,
have
will have
the guys whom who has little knowledge. They might think that LoadRunner has 12.5, 12.6 versions, right? No, these are outdated.
But will you show us or explain like what will be the difference? Because in most of the projects, people are still using stable versions like 1253 or 55. So
No,
just in comparison.
from scripting point of view, no change at all. Okay, some of the options got improved. Okay, different protocols got added. Some new features have come up, but that doesn't mean that you cannot test in 12.53 or 12.61. You can use it. The tool, the component is same. Okay, nothing is changed specifically. From execution point of view, there is a slight change. LRE has come into picture, but anyways, we are also learning controller, right? So in that way, 12.53 or 12.61, both will be covered. So you can actually once you complete this course without any problem, you can practice on 12.5, 12.6, whatever you want, whatever you have. But the only thing I want to tell you is whoever is using 12.5, 12.6, the latest version, Windows 11, okay, is not fully supported. When if you have Windows 11 or Windows 10, 12.5 or 12.6, we are having many problems. Okay, um, so that's the reason we will be giving you a trial version of 2022. Okay, so our team will guide you how to install it, how to download or install it. Okay, they'll take care of it. If you want to practice in 2022, if you already have 12.5, 12.6, you can continue to use it. I mean, if you already have, if you're confident that it is working in your machine, you can use it.
Sir, will have any real-time project training?
Yes. So we are going to learn the load runner concepts uh, only on I mean load runner scripting concepts on sample application, but we do have our own applications like Isha Training Solutions.com. That application is specifically designed, okay, for for performance testing. So we actually have many challenges in that. Okay, so those challenges you definitely encounter in your real-time projects. The application is designed in such a way that you have so many complex scripting challenges also. Okay, and we will practice on multiple applications. We will run some end-to-end load test. We will understand the results. Okay, we'll see how the metrics are coming in the backend. While we are running the test, we'll see how the metrics, what are the different metrics that we can capture from APM tool in the backend. So end-to-end, like how you start the test. Okay, how you prepare your plan. I mean, how you prepare your test. How do you calculate pacing? How do you plan your load test? How do you analyze the results? How do you send the report to client? Everything will be discussed end to end.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any questions? Okay, so whoever is completely new to IT, okay, so don't worry. I mean, I know some of you guys might be from functional testing or automation testing, or maybe you want to switch your career to performance. Okay, but some of you guys might be completely new to IT and they want to start a career in performance. So don't worry. I mean, I can make you understand the terms and terminologies of performance testing. Okay, I can take one additional class if you want to understand how the project works in real time, like what is agile, what is waterfall, how the performance testing work will be done. Okay, what will be your day-to-day activities in your project. So all these things I can explain you. Okay, any other questions? Let me check the chat window once. um, Krishna, it's a licensed Krishna, but it's licensed tool. We will install the trial version that will be there in your machine for lifetime. I mean,
Okay.
basically it's a trial, but you have to test with limited number of users. I mean, the trial version
Mhm.
itself comes to test with limited number of users.
Okay.
Uh, Demo. I don't know the name. The name is saying demo. Related to fee structure. I mean fees or whatever it is. If you want to discuss, please reach out to uh, Kumar sir. Okay. So I'm just pinging that in the chat window once again. Okay, you can reach out to Kumar sir for any queries or fees related issues. I think yes, you can pay in installments. I think yes. Okay, you can do that. I guess yeah. Okay, any other questions?
Is there any certification level in LoadRunner?
Yeah, I mean there is a certification, but trust me, I've been in IT since last 13 years. Um, doesn't matter certification. I mean even if you certified a load runner expert, if you're not certified load runner expert, doesn't matter. Okay, I mean skill is important, especially if you are working in India. Uh, Mostly certifications doesn't matter. Certifications probably related to agile, those things can assist, but tool wise not that important. I mean, they see the skill in interview. That should be enough.
Okay.
However, if you want to do certification, there is a course. I mean, not course actually. There is a certification, HP LoadRunner, Micro Focus LoadRunner certification that is available. Okay, and once you complete this course, you will get a, I mean, certificate from Isha also. Okay, like this. So you'll get a certificate that you have completed the course, so and so, so and so. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. So if you have any further questions, right, please do reach out to me on WhatsApp. I'm there in the WhatsApp group. I'll ping you after this course in the WhatsApp group. You can, if you have any course related queries, you can reach out to me. If you have any fee related queries, I pinged you the number, right? You can reach out to them. You can like give 3 to 5 years of experience, 3 to 4 years easily. So practice is important, guys. I mean, so without practice, nothing comes, right. So you have to practice at least for, 1.5 month or so. Okay, daily 2 hours at least, something like that, scripting wise. Then it will help you. If you're directly listening to class and not practicing, like you might know the concept, but when you're trying to implement practically, you might get stuck somewhere. When you do the practical sessions, then it will assist you. Okay. So please do reach out to me if you have any further questions. I'll ping in WhatsApp group after this session. Okay. So I thank you. One second. Let me check the questions. Yeah, I'll ping in the WhatsApp group right away. Okay. So thank you each and everyone for joining this demo session. I hope to see all of you in the upcoming sessions as well. Have a great rest of the day.